Good morning and welcome to the grounds of St Nicholas Church in a small village called Alfold in Surrey. Today we are going to visit the final resting place of a very, very well-known actress. There, look, you can see the church there over my shoulder. We are going to visit the final resting place of a very, very well-known actress who played parts with a very well-known scene actually with Burt Lancaster on a beach, rolling around in the surf. And people like Yul Brynner, David Niven, very well-known actors. A very good Hollywood actress as well as a homegrown British actress. She started off training actually in ballet. That's where when she left school she did ballet, and then she decided on a career change. Her aunt ran a, what would you call it, like a drama school, like an acting school, and she decided to change her career and go into acting, which was a very wise career move. But anyway, we'll have a little wander around this churchyard while I'll tell you a little bit about the person we have come here to visit today, and that is of course Deborah Kerr. Now you might be thinking, who the hell is Deborah Kerr? Now I've always known her as Deborah Kerr because that's the way her name is spelt, but while I did my research on her, I found out that she herself pronounced it as Deborah Kerr, so that's how we're going to call her, Deborah Kerr. She was, as I said, she was in a lot of films, and people who watch my channel know that I've done quite a few videos up to this point, and I've done a lot of research on a lot of people. But nobody, not even Richard Todd, has come close to the amount of accolades that this woman should have got. She did get a lot of positive feedback from a lot of very influential people. A lot of critics and just people that knew her, people that had acted with her. They couldn't say enough good things about her, and yet why didn't she win an Oscar? At the end of the day, she got an honorary Oscar, but that's not really a proper Oscar, is it? Let's face it. She was nominated for quite a few, but never won. But I put that down to the people that she was up against at the time. I mean, she was an English actress, and she was up against a lot of very, very well-known American actresses of the day. Very, you know, Audrey Hepburn, people like her that continually won Oscars. But anyway, I'm going to spin you around. We'll have a little look around this churchyard because she's not actually buried in this churchyard. She's buried just around the corner in Alfold Cemetery. But the cemetery itself is so small, I wouldn't have enough time really to give you a bio on her. So what I'm going to do is have a little wander around this churchyard while I'll give you a bio on her, and we'll walk from here so I can show you how to find where exactly she's buried, because I had a hell of a job. When I was looking it up, it kept coming up as Lincolnshire, but I knew it wasn't. I knew she was buried in Surrey, but I eventually found it. So as I say, I'll spin you around, we'll have a little look around this churchyard, and then we'll take a little wander into the cemetery, and we'll go and find the final resting place of Deborah Kerr. Deborah Jane Trimmer was born on 30th of September 1921 in Hillhead, Glasgow, the only daughter of Kathleen Rose, née Smale, and Captain Arthur Charles Kerr Trimmer, a World War I veteran and pilot who lost his leg at the Battle of the Somme. Young Deborah spent the first 3 years of her life in the Scottish west coast town of Helensburgh, where her parents lived with Deborah's grandparents in a house on West King Street. Kerr had a younger brother, Edmund Teddy, who became a journalist. He died aged 78 in a road rage incident in 2004. Kerr was educated at the independent Northumberland House School, Henleys in Bristol, England, and at Rossholm School, Weston-super-Mare. She soon found success as an actress. Her first acting teacher was her aunt Phyllis Smale, who worked at a drama school in Bristol run by Lally Cuthbert Hicks. She adopted the name Deborah Kerr on becoming a film actress. Kerr's first stage appearance was at Weston-super-Mare in 1937 as Harlequin in the mime play Harlequin and Columbine. After various walk-on parts in Shakespeare productions at the Open Air Theatre in Regent's Park, London, she joined the Oxford Playhouse Repertory Company in 1940. Kerr's first film role was in the British production Contraband, US Blackout 1940, age 18 or 19, but her scenes were cut. She had a strong support role in Major Barbara 1941, directed by Gabriel Pascal. Kerr became known playing the lead role of the film Love on the Dole 1941. Critic James Agate wrote that Love on the Dole is not within a mile of Wendy Hiller's In the Theatre, but it is a charming piece of work by a very pretty and promising beginner. She was the female lead in Pen of Pennsylvania 1941, which was little seen. However, Hatter's Castle 1942, in which she starred with Robert Newton and James Mason, was very successful. She played a Norwegian resistance fighter in The Day Will Dawn 1942. She was an immediate hit with the public. An American film trade paper reported in 1942 that she was the most popular British actress with Americans. Kerr played three women in Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger's The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp 1943. Kerr made clear that her surname should be pronounced the same as Carr. To avoid confusion over pronunciation, Louis B. Mayer, head of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, billed her as Kerr rhymes with star, or Carr rhymes with star. Although the British Army refused to cooperate with the producers and Winston Churchill thought the film would ruin wartime morale, Colonel Blimp confounded critics when it proved to be an artistic and commercial success. In 1943, aged 21, Kerr made her West End debut as Ellie Dunn in a revival Heartbreak House at the Cambridge Theatre, stealing attention from stalwarts such as Edith Evans and Isabel Jeans. Near the end of the Second World War, she also toured Holland, France and Belgium for Ensa as Mrs. Manningham in Gaslight retitled Angel Street with Stuart Granger. Alexander Korda cast her opposite Robert Donat in Perfect Strangers 1945. The film was a big hit in Britain. So too was the spy comedy drama I See a Dark Stranger 1946. Her role as a troubled nun in the Powell and Pressburger production of Black Narcissus 1947 brought her to the attention of Hollywood producers. The film was a hit in the US as well as the UK, and Kerr won the New York Film Critics Award as Actress of the Year. Kerr's first film for MGM in Hollywood was a mature satire of the burgeoning advertising industry, The Huskers 1947, with Clark Gable and Ava Gardner. She and Walter Pidgeon were cast in If Winter Comes 1947. She received the first of her Oscar nominations for Edward My Son 1949, a drama set and filmed in England co-starring Spencer Tracy. In Hollywood, Kerr's British accent and manner led to a succession of roles portraying refined, reserved and proper English ladies. Kerr nevertheless used any opportunity to discard her cool exterior. She had the lead in a comedy, Please Believe Me, 1950. Kerr appeared in two huge hits for MGM in a row. King Solomon's Mines, 1950, was shot on location in Africa with Stuart Granger and Richard Coulson. This was immediately followed by her appearance in the religious epic Quo Vadis, 1951. She then played Princess Flavia in a remake of The Prisoner of Zenda 1952 with Granger and Mason. In between, Paramount borrowed her to appear in Thunder in the East 1951 with Alan Ladd. She made Young Bess 1953 with Granger and Gene Simmons, then appeared alongside Cary Grant in Dream Wife 1953. Kerr departed from typecasting with a performance that brought out her sensuality as Karen Holmes, an embittered American military wife in Red Zimmerman's From Here to Eternity 1953, for which she received an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Having established herself as a film actress in the meantime, she made her Broadway debut in 1953, appearing in Robert Anderson's Tea and Sympathy, for which she received a Tony Award nomination. Thereafter, Kerr's career choices would make her known in Hollywood for her versatility as an actress. She played the repressed wife in The End of the Affair, 1955, shot in England with Van Johnson. She was a widow in love with William Holden in The Proud and Profane, 1956. Neither film was much of a hit. Kerr then played Anna Leonownas in the film version of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical The King and I, 1956, with Yul Brynner in the lead. It was a huge hit. She played a nun in Heaven Knows Mr. Allison 1957 opposite her longtime friend Robert Mitchum. It was very popular, as was An Affair to Remember 1957 opposite Cary Grant. Kerr starred in 3 films with David Niven: Bonjour Tristesse 1958, Separate Tables 1958, which was particularly well received, and Eye of the Devil 1966. She made 2 films at MGM. The Journey reunited her with Brinner, and Beloved Infidel with Gregory Peck. Kerr was reunited with Mitchum in The Sundowners 1960, shot in Australia, then The Grass is Greener 1960, co-starring Cary Grant. She appeared in Gary Cooper's last film The Naked Edge 1961, and starred in The Innocents also 1961, where she plays a governess tormented by apparitions. Kerr made her British TV debut in 3 Roads to Rome 1963. She was another governess in The Chalk Garden 1964 and worked with John Huston again in The Night of the Iguana 1964. She joined Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra in a love triangle for a romantic comedy, Marriage on the Rocks 1965. In 1965, the producers of Carry On Screaming offered her a fee comparable to that paid to the rest of the cast combined, but she turned it down in favour of appearing in an aborted stage version of Flowers for Algernon. She replaced Kim Novak in Eye of the Devil 1966 with Niven, and was re-teamed with Niven in the comedy Casino Royale 1967, achieving the distinction of being, at 45, the oldest Bond girl in any James Bond film until Monica Bellucci at the age of 50 in Spectre 2015. Casino Royale was a hit, as was another movie she made with Niven, Prudence and the Pill 1968. Pressure of competition from younger upcoming actresses made her agree to appear nude in John Frankenheimer's The Gypsy Moths 1969, the only nude scene in her career. She made The Arrangement 1969. She returned to the cinema one more time in 1985, The Assam Garden. Concern about the parts being offered to her, as well as the increasing amount of nudity included in films, led her to abandon the medium at the end of the 1960s, with one exception in 1985, in favour of television and theatre work. She took on the role of the older Emma Hart, a tycoon in the adaptation of Barbara Taylor Badford's A Woman of Substance 1984. For this performance, Kerr was nominated for an Emmy Award. Kerr rejoined old screen partner Mitchum in Reunion at Fairborough 1985. Other TV roles included Anne and Debbie 1986 and Hold the Dream 1986. Kerr's first marriage was to squadron leader Anthony Bartley, RAF, on the 29th of November 1945. They had 2 daughters, Melanie Jane, born the 27th of December 1947, and Francesca Ann, born 18th of December 1951, who married the actor John Shrapnel. The marriage was troubled owing to Bartley's envy of his wife's fame and financial success, and because her career often took her away from home, they divorced in 1959. Her second marriage was to author Peter Viertel on 23rd of July 1960. In marrying Viertel, she became stepmother to Viertel's daughter, Christine Viertel. Although she long resided in Closters, Switzerland and Marbella, Spain, Kerr moved to Britain to be closer to her own children as her health began to deteriorate. Her husband, however, continued to live in Marbella. Stuart Granger said in his autobiography that in 1945 she had approached him romantically in the back of his chauffeur-driven car at the time he was making Caesar and Cleopatra. Although he was married to Elspeth March, he states that he and Kerr went on to have an affair. When asked about this revelation, Kerr's response was, "What a gallant man he is." Kerr died aged 86 on the 16th of October 2007 at Boatsdale, a village in the county of Suffolk, England, from the effects of Parkinson's disease. Within 3 weeks of her death, her husband Peter Viertel died of cancer on the 4th of November 2007.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it, that someone like Deborah Kerr should be buried in a little out of the way cemetery like this. It's unbelievable. But right, she is buried literally just over there to my left. So what I'll do is I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at her final resting place together. Right, it's just over here.
wasn't difficult to find, as you can imagine. Seems there's really not that many graves in here. But someone with a career like hers, in a tiny, tiny little cemetery like this. But anyway, here it is. This is the final resting place of Deborah Kerr. And this one took me a long time to find. Deborah Kerr Vietel, 1921 to 2007. And that is all it's got on it for a Hollywood actress. It's incredible. But that is the final resting place of Deborah Kerr. A little village in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Surrey. Well, I thought she might have been buried with her husband, and I looked it up, and apparently he died in Spain, in their family home in Spain, because obviously she'd come home to be closer to her children during her illness. And obviously a matter of weeks after she passed away, he passed away, and his ashes were actually scattered in France. You would have thought they would have wanted to be together, wouldn't you? But anyway, that was the final resting place of Deborah Kerr. I do hope you like this video, because this was quite a long drive to get here. It was a nightmare trying to find it. But anyway, as I say, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. It does help the channel to grow. And if you like the content, then maybe consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, never forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Right, that's it. Me, Darren, from Surrey. I'm going home. I'll see you on the next one. So bye-bye for now.